Hello everybody and welcome back to Tlatoani, where we are currently working on getting a lot of things underway. We still need enough farmland for our settlement, and I'd like to do some work up over here. So we know that we have these tiles here, right? So this is a swamp tile here? Interesting. Okay, so we may or may not be able to get that right now. Well, we know that we want some fruit trees in here, and we're currently at 14 out of 62. So we need 2 more maize fields to bring that to 16. There we go. We could also put 1 here, but for now, I'm going to put in a set of fruit trees. So we need 8 of these. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so yeah, this is not building on the swamp. And these are now giving an error. Okay, we'll look at that in a moment. But 1 here, and yeah, we can't currently build on this swamp. This says it can be reclaimed with chinampas. I don't think we have access to these. Pretty sure we do not. So that's going to limit our capacity here. So that's 2. I'm going to put 1 here. Actually, I've changed my mind on this. So if we're limited like that, then we can do a fruit tree here. This is a swamp tile. This is actually still a swamp tile. Okay, so a fruit tree here, possibly. Or we could do here and here, and I kind of like that better. So a fruit tree in those locations, that's 2, 3, 4, and we may or may not be able to put 1 there. Yeah, we cannot. So this is 5 at this point. That's 5 fruit trees. That swamp is really hurting us in this regard. So that's understood. We may want to just leave that be. So this would then be, hang on, that was a maize field. I want a chili bed. 1, 2, 3, 4, something along the lines of this, essentially. Okay, so that puts us at 27 out of 32. We could do a little bit out over here. So this would be, I think we had 5 of these previously. So 1, 2, and 3, like that. And then we can do a couple of chili beds like this. This would put us at 32 out of 32, right up over here. This isn't ideal. The swamp is definitely causing us some problems, but I think we would have run out of space for that anyway. So that is understood for now. Now, what's the problem with these? Access to more education. Okay, so this guy here is currently in heavy service use. It has a pretty long range, so that's understood. Let's consider building another one of those, perhaps up here. If we put that here, hypothetically, it's not quite reaching these. Okay. We could put it here, which might be a better spot for it. So that would mean that this well dipper would need to be moved. If we did this, hang on, close that. If we did this, this would still be reaching almost all of this. Not quite. If we put in a road tile here and move this well dipper to here, this isn't accessing up here now. Was it before? No, it wasn't before. So we can move that out over here, and then we can build an education institution down here. Okay, so let's leave that be for the time being. We've got a lot of work that we need to do on this, of course. And victory is impossible while in debt. So I want to open up this trading post here. I want to boost up our amount of pottery to 200. So that'll be relatively fine for now. And we're going to need to get these movements completed sooner rather than later. Our granary should have proximity and road access to both your market and all of your farmers' huts. And it should. I think we're actually lacking access to this market over here. If we were to put a road in here, that might fix that. Yes. Okay, so that looks good for now. We'll need to get that road dug, of course. It'll take a little bit. We'll need to get some porters working on all of that. So that's going to take a little while overall. So we've got 2 years remaining at this point. We're going further and further into debt as of right now. So I want to drop down our wages to like 20% across the board. This is maybe going to cause us issues, but let's see what that ends up looking like. We definitely need a cut there, and let's see if that will hopefully fix the issue. Okay, so we're at minus 518 right now, minus 519. But the question is, when are we going to get an export tick, right? That's the real question here. Also, I'd like to have access to taxes. Apparently last year we exported 805, and this year we only exported 125. I wonder if that's a year to date, maybe? I don't know. So for now, our porters are heavily overtaxed, I believe. And hopefully they'll get this done soon. Okay, so there's that done. Now we need some education access out over this way. So that means that we would want to put one of these guys in approximately here. Yes. Now that's not going to reach all the way up here, but we might be able to squeak a road in over this way like that and get some slightly better range out of it. Emphasis on slightly. It's still not going to reach all the way up to this farmer's hut, but that's okay for now. Okay, so we'll get that underway, and this small market still is apparently an issue. We should have a connection to that market over here. Yeah, we should have a connection to all of this from this granary. So that looks reasonably fine for now. Our prosperity is 9 of 10, and we are in debt at this moment. So I'm hoping that we're going to run an export here soon. It's possible that we aren't going to export. Oh, I saw this tick down, and our debt ticked down as well. Okay, beautiful. So that looks good for now. Some of our diversion venues are overcrowded. Okay, so that's probably this alcove over here. So that's absolutely fine. We can put in another alcove, perhaps somewhere up this way, to help relieve some of that strain. That would not really help with this. So we could put an alcove here and an alcove up here. And that's what I'm going to do for now. Okay, so that one. And we're still waiting on a lot of this. So what is this currently indicating the issue is? I don't think there's actually an issue here, if I'm honest. I think this market is actually fine. That's my theory right now anyway. So this farmer's hut still needs to be moved. We're working on it. And as we can see, our canals are mostly built at this point. It's got some work to do yet. And this out over here, we definitely need to do some work over here too. So we would need to build a stockade tower right here, and then a stockade tower right here as well. So we'll get those done, and that'll be fine for the moment. Okay, so what other issues do we have right now? Well, we're in debt. Victory is impossible while in debt. Our granary should have proximity and road access to both your market and all of your farmers' huts. And from what I can tell, it does. So I don't know why this is popping up here. It might just be that this farmer's hut needs to get moved. That might be all we're waiting on. So if that's the case, I'd like it if they'd actually, get to work on moving it. This may indicate that we require additional porters' houses. Let's see, where are those? Yeah, these porter yards here. So we can see that the staff is... This guy's wandering. I mean, that's not very useful. Now he's going to supervise the porter yard. Okay. So we definitely have a lot of work to do yet. And I'm keeping a close eye on our debt right now. Our debt is, I think, overall improving. Our balance is 114. So I would like to continue to bring that up a little bit. I'm not noticing any issues with dropping our wages, although that might cause them to work less. Hard to say. Our food reserves are currently low. Sure. That's not terribly shocking. The main issue here is these take up a lot of spaces and require a lot of services. So that's definitely a thing. And with this cliff here, that means that we've got this area right here that is currently under cultivation for maize. So if we were to swap these over to road, that is 2 fields there. So we do something like that, right? And then the idea would be to put in road there. And then maybe we could do 2 fields out over this direction. Kind of like that. Okay. We could definitely use another set of farmland. And I'm thinking that would go right up over here. So to that end, a road would go up this direction and would come in something like, actually, it would come in about like this, ideally. And then we would put in another farmhouse out over this direction. So that would end up being a farmer's hut, which would go... I mean, we've got that canal, right? So it would end up going there. And then we would do a maize field out over this direction. That would be 16. So that would be fine. And then a fruit tree would go here. We would definitely want to have some canal coming up over this way. And then ideally it would connect in here, but I think we might have to move this out by 1. So for now, let's hold off on that. Let's put in a fruit tree here, 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 here. So that is 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll call that good enough. The rest of this we'll put in as a chili bed, like that. And then this canal can go in something like that, would be the idea. Okay, so we can get that underway. That seems fine for now. That's going to take a little bit of time to get done, and these take so much space. That's the main issue, is that this is going to have some problems getting to some of the amenities out over this way. But that's relatively fine for now. So we're at minus 206 right now. We're definitely making some money here. Balance is positive, so that's good. We got to get out of debt. That's kind of mission number 1. What's going on here? Ah, the sweeper is strained. So we should probably bring in another sweeper somewhere. We could bring this guy in up over here, perhaps. I'm wondering if this would reach. No, but if we were to take out this road, that might do the trick. If we were to put it right here, the sweeper. So let's see if that ends up happening. For now, we'll need to wait for that road to disappear, which may take a little bit. We're still waiting on this farmhouse to be moved, by the way. Eventually, they'll get there. Eventually. I hope. A porter's house up over this way might not be a bad idea. I'm guessing that the issue here is just range, more than anything. They're not prioritizing coming up over here. So a porterhouse up over this direction, probably not a terrible concept. If we were to put that about right here, and then take a couple of roads out to there. Something like this for right now. Okay. So I keep hoping that the road over here is going to get removed, and in fact, maybe it is. Yeah, I think it is. So we want to get a sweeper here, for sure, to help relieve some of the strain on our services. So yeah, a sweeper right there. And this guy is going to reach... Yeah, it's going to reach most of this out over here. Beautiful. And a little bit of this out over here. So that looks solid. We're still a little bit in debt here, and apparently that is going a little more negative, although it looks like we haven't exported any pottery for a while, so that is absolutely noted. We will hopefully be seeing this pottery export soon. I see these guys are on their way back. I think this is a trade. Yeah, they just arrived back, and looks like that did indeed get us some money. So that looks fantastic. So this porter yard over here will get built eventually, and I'm wondering where our other porter yards are. So we've got one down over here. It looks like that is in range, kind of? Maybe not, actually. So that seems fine. I'd love to see these canals up here get built. They're a long ways away from anything. So that is definitely a concern. No doubt about that. But our debt is getting smaller. There are 2 years remaining at this moment. So let's cruise on forward for a little bit here and just see if we can get some of this going. So if we check in on these guys, yeah, ambience. I'm not too concerned about that right now, to be honest. I don't want to import more stone. So that's the real takeaway there. So we now have these porters here. They're working on doing stuff up over this direction. That looks good. And it looks like they're getting some of these canals built at long last. I'd love to see them actually moving this farmer's hut. That would be really good. But we're slowly working on this up over here anyway. So that seems fine for now. They can just continue to work on that for the moment. Cool. So yeah, this porter's yard definitely doing stuff. Our tribute has been successfully received. That's good. There's 1 year remaining at this point. We are still in debt here. And yeah, this is clearly year to date. So that seems fine. We can't drop our wages anymore. Our wages are as low as they go. So that's understood. We're not getting any taxes. We just need more exports is what this means. So we're at 198 out of 200 right now. I think we might wait. No, we just left with 10. So these guys are headed off. And they'll return back eventually. We still haven't moved this farmhouse. Well, we're working on some of this up over here, I suppose. Enemies are heading for our city from the east, so that's going to be out on this side. We still haven't built this stockade tower either. We'll probably get to it eventually, I would think. Hopefully. And this market is still saying it's got problems. I don't know what the problems are. It's not really very elucidating, to be honest. It seems to think that it's not in range of our granary, and I strongly disagree. Our granary is definitely showing as being within range. Okay, the enemy army has arrived, so that is fine. They'll show up out over here eventually. In theory. Okay, so we can see we're at minus 73 now. That looks good. I'm wondering if maybe we should build a road like this, actually. That might fix this issue because this is currently heading around here, like this, into this market. That might fix it. We'll see. So the road is slowly being built at this point. Actually, they're getting on it this time. So that's neat. Well, part of it anyway. And did we not queue up a piece of road there? There should be a piece of road there. Absolutely. Okay, so that looks good. Yeah, that was the issue. Okay, beautiful. So that's now dealt with. Our farmland can feed 2250 out of 2120, plots 230. Yes. I don't know why we're not moving this farmer's hut, though. The structure is awaiting removal still, for some reason. So we need to get out of debt. That's our major issue right now. We are, of course, being attacked down over here. And I'm not sure what these guys are doing. They're just kind of chilling. They are traders, of course, and our military is starting to respond down over here. But we're definitely taking some damage down this way. They took out our trading caravan, and they also destroyed our hunter lodge out over here. Very rude of them. But now they're coming up into our main town, and this is where our citizens defend themselves. So that's good. We should be reasonably fine on that front. So this sweeper is still considered strained, and this sweeper up here is only in minimal use. We may want to consider another sweeper down over this direction. So that would go perhaps here. Okay. This is a pretty big attack, actually. But they're coming in kind of piecemeal, and we're able to handle them fairly easily. We definitely took a bit of a hit from the traders that ended up dying, but that's fine for now. So let's eliminate these guys, and we'll need to take this all out. And eventually we'll take care of these invaders. Looks like they're just about beaten back at this point. Okay, that's this guy up over here. Yeah. So the invasion has been beaten. We lost 3 porters and 3 guards in the skirmish. 1 hunter, 1 archer, and 1 trader were incapacitated. Okay, this outcrop can be quarried for stone. Okay, so that's where you get stone. We don't have that unlocked right now. We can't actually quarry. So that's noted. And I wonder if that's a finite resource. Wood isn't a finite resource, so that's absolutely a thing. Okay, so we're going to cruise through here, but that attack actually was quite bad for us because we lost some of our traders. So that's understood. I would love to see some of this going away and being exported. We'll see what happens with that. We still haven't managed to move this farmer's hut, and I don't know what the holdup is on this. That's a little strange to me. There's a porter yard right here. So there's that. We're going to be out of this fairly soon. Our fields are not dug out yet. We're working on it. Eventually. But I'm concerned about this timing. 1 year remaining. I'm definitely concerned about that timing. Okay, here goes some traders. That's good. And I do want to get an additional tower built here, although it seems like this doesn't really do much. I don't know. It seems like our people don't really sit in the tower very often, and when we get attacked, nothing really comes of it. I don't know. It's kind of strange. Maybe they're planning on fleshing that out more later. This is still early access. Okay, so here we see some porters going. They're carrying a bunch of pottery. That's very good. Because we need to get out of debt, and we need to do it quick. Unfortunately, these guys dying here, it seems like we get the money when they come back. So I think we missed out on that, unfortunately. It's very sad. But we're still waiting on some fields being dug out up over here. So that's understood. Now, we could just remove these fields. I'd like it if this farmer would, you know, actually dig these. But they don't seem to be very concerned about actually getting some of these things done, particularly moving this farmer's hut. They're really not very concerned about that. Okay. We're running out of time. But here comes a pack of traders. So that's good. Here comes another one. Okay, so we bought stone. That's not ideal, for sure. So we're at minus 196 right now. We will come out of debt, but I'm very concerned about the timing. Very, very concerned. Let's stop buying stone. Okay. We should have another pack of traders coming back eventually, but the fact is, that's our only source of income. And I wonder what's going to happen when we run out of time here. Victory is impossible while in debt. So that's definitely something to consider going forward. As far as our fields not being fully dug out, I mean, yeah, it'll happen eventually, but it apparently takes a long time. I really don't understand why this farmer's hut hasn't been moved. Like, I really don't understand that. We're just chilling here. Can we cancel the relocation order? It might go faster to just demolish it and then build it back. So at this point, we would then put in a farmer's hut right here. That might trigger them to actually get going on that. Maybe. Okay, so they got it finished at least. So that's something. But we're very, very close to the end of our timing here, right? We need our fields to be dug out. We need to get out of debt. We're very close on that. So one more trade route would probably pull us out of debt or be very, very close to it. I do want to get a stockade tower in up over here. So that's going to be a thing, but we're incredibly close to time running out. I guess we'll figure out what happens here, but a lot of the reason why we're running out of time is, of course, because... Oh, we're out of debt right now. Hang on. I'm going to remove any of these fields that need digging right now. Instead of waiting for them to be dug. And now we need enough farmland. Okay, so I'm going to leave this maize field here. There's only this maize field that needs to be dug at this moment. This is the only thing that we need to be dug. And we've only got a couple days to do it. Farmers, get out here. I wish we could order them to do this, like to prioritize this. This is the only thing that we need. Actually, we need a little bit more farm here. So we can put a maize field here. A maize field here. There. That's what we need, is 2 maize fields. Please come dig these. Tribute not received. Okay. We're on the next year now. This is still saying... Okay, ruler disgraced. So that's the end of the game. Okay, so that's really awkward then. We were so close. Oh, wait. This brought us back to our save. We might be able to get there from here. Yeah, we might be able to get there from here. So we know that these fields here need to be dug, right? So we get rid of those. And then we can get rid of these over here. Okay. And then I'm going to demolish this. Yeah, so this is back at the autosave. And we're going to see if we can do it from here. Come on, people. Get this done. Demolish and demolish. Get it done, folks. Okay, there we go. Wait, they actually moved it now? They actually moved it. Cool. So that looks good. We have fields that still need digging. And we'd love to get our farmers out there and dig those fields, right? So we have a couple of fields there. And we have a couple of fields here that need digging. In fact, a lot of fields here that need digging. So all of these, they all need digging. Let's remove those for the time being. Okay, now we're going to need to have enough food. So we need to put in a couple of fields here. Let's put in a maize field. So we can put in that number of fields. Okay, please go dig those fields. We just need these farmers to come dig these fields. And then we win. They appear to be refusing to dig the fields. There are some fields out here that need digging as well. Yeah, they are just refusing to do the work that we have ordered here. Tribute not received, and that's going to be the end, isn't it? Yeah, so we ran out of timing there, so I think we have to load in a slightly older session. So this is the one from the beginning of this episode. Okay, so I'm going to order the destruction of this at this point. And hope that our people actually do it. There we go. And then we've got this farmer's hut up over here, which gets destroyed. Okay. Then we put in a farmer's hut here. It's just a matter of our people aren't doing, like, the orders, right? That was the issue there. We would have been fine on that front. Now, we're going to need to export more pottery here, of course. But we know we'll be okay on that. All we need to do is have these guys come up here. So we are going to need a little bit more farmland. I'm going to build only maize up over here. Now we're getting this issue, and we fixed this previously by running a road approximately like that. And then also a road here. Okay. So let's just continue to cruise through here and see if our farmers will actually get this done. Okay, our fields are not dug yet. We need to get the fields dug. So we're just being a little bit more cautious on some of these other things, right? And we know that we needed to crank down our wages. That's something I should have done at the beginning of this. There we go. And we'll cruise through this at the fastest time is 9x. So something like this. Our fields are still not dug. Ah. Now it wants us to irrigate fields with canals and place 2 hunters' lodges. Okay, so we have a hunter's lodge down here. So we should probably place a second one. There we go. Trade and tribute part 2. Yes, we figured this out. So we were supposed to get this a lot sooner, I think. For now, you should not have more than 1 trading post. I strongly disagree with that statement. I incredibly strongly disagree with that statement. We need to be able to export. Otherwise, we're going to be in debt. We need to store provisions in a granary. We might have to just restart this one from the beginning, actually. We'll see. But for the moment, we need to have this second trading post. It's absolutely necessary. We do need another sweeper eventually, so let's go ahead and put one in right up over here, as we did before. And we're working on getting these canals dug eventually. But yeah, we're trying to store provisions in the granary, but we're not really getting enough in there. So that's absolutely noted. But we have to have the second trading post in order to get out of debt. That is necessary. I want to no longer be importing stone for the moment. And let's just cruise through here. I think we can probably get this done with this city here. But we absolutely need to get our granary to be, yeah. Tribute was received. Okay. So we absolutely need to be doing this. I want to be on accepts here. Okay. Our food production is not adequate to keep up with exports. Yeah, I want to no longer be exporting chili or meat. So let's get these out of here. We're only looking to export pottery at this moment. But we need to get out of debt. That's for sure. Enemies on the march. They're coming in from the east. Yes. That was expected. Okay. Enemies are at the door. Yes. That is expected. Some of our diversion venues are overcrowded. I'm not concerned about that right now. Okay, so we're just cruising through here, and the real question is, can we finish this before the end? We might have to restart it. It's clear that the game was intending us to complete that objective way faster. No doubt about that. But I'm noticing that our granary loads are definitely not being much of a thing, right? Let's take this up to 120 and 120. We've barely got any loads in here. We're holding neutral right now. So that's absolutely a thing. Let's not get any of this for right now. City has entered debt for the moment. Yep, that's to be understood. Okay, we might have to restart this, and we'll restart it after this episode if we fail to get there this time. I think we are going to fail to. We're just not getting enough food in, and that's absolutely understood. So these canals are pretty much built at this point. They are actually irrigating, I believe. But yeah, we're just not really getting enough stored in our granary. So that's absolutely noted. We're not in debt at this point, so that's something. Okay, Yeah, tribute not received. Whatever. Yeah, so there we go. I think we have to restart this one, so we'll give that a go in the next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time. And we're going to approach it differently. We've learned a lot in this attempt.